There's a new neighborhood studio in Alameda where people are gathering to giggle and grow through playful classes, workshops, and events that leave them feeling more connected and more confident. Joining us today is Claire Slattery, founder and creator of Improv Central, to talk about how improvisation is helping people show up true to themselves in the unscripted moments of their everyday lives. Claire, welcome to Live in the Bay.
Thanks for having me.
This is so much fun, and let's talk a little bit about your background. You were training leaders at Google, Adobe, you're prepping people for TED Talks and speakers. You know, tell me a little bit about your career.
Absolutely. So that's a little bit of the middle of the career. The beginning of the career was actually being a full-time actor. So I started performing on stages right here in the Bay Area with the fine folks like Bats Improv, and it really was a full-time actor life. And during the day, I started training and working with folks as a facilitator and leading workshops. And so that career kind of took off, and I started working with folks, like you said, at those kinds of tech companies. And then I kind of noticed that the skills that I really loved about improvisation, being a performer and then getting to teach those skills in company settings, I really wanted a place for that to exist for everyday people. So you didn't have to work at a tech company to get these kinds of skills. I wanted it to be more accessible. So that's why.
So much fun. I think that is so cool. So tell me about Improv Central and what you've built there.
Sure. We opened just 10 months ago. We are a neighborhood studio in Alameda, and we're, as you said, a place where people can gather in person in a screen-free environment to come back to each other, to connect with their creativity, to build community through the really playful practice of improvisation. Not to perform, but just to be more present, because it can be a little scary or a little vulnerable to come together in person and not have a script. But most of our life is unscripted, so we practice the skills to get better at those moments.
Yeah, so much fun. And what have you seen from everyone who's come and taken classes? Because like you said, you wanted this for everyday people, not people who are on stages, not people who are on camera, but how are these skills translating into their everyday lives?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say the folks that are coming through our doors are folks who are people, are everyday people who don't identify as a performer. They are often the kind of people who say, my friends are surprised that I'm taking an improv class. So they don't identify as that. And we also see professionals. We lead a playful public speaking class. That's one of the top fears that we humans have. And so there are professionals who want to come and practice that important skill, because things will go off the rails. Things will be unscripted. Some of the most important moments of their careers will be things they didn't plan for. And then finally, we have lots of parents who are coming through. People that want to take our Family Frolic class, where they can connect with their families, with other families, meet people through play, and do that without a screen and without needing to plan or host it themselves.
Yes. Who is good in this situation? Or I guess a better question is, you know, what kind of skills does someone need to have showing up? Or can anyone just show up?
I love that you use the word show up, because as improvisers, the first rule is just showing up. And that's often the hardest part. I've even had some members, we're a member-supported space, people come and say, the first 2 or 3 classes, Claire, I stayed in my car for about 15 to 20 minutes before I walked in the doors. So really, it's just showing up and maybe being open to being challenged a little, to trying something new, but trusting that if you have the interest, if that even sounds a little bit fun, just being a little open and ready to meet other people, that's all you need.
I think it's so cool. You have a really fun event coming up tomorrow even. Tell me about this and who would have so much fun there.
Sure. So once a month, we have a event called Improv Date Night. So instead of going to a restaurant or a bar, you come with your boo or your bestie or your roommate or a colleague or someone that you've been really wanting to connect with through play, and you have a date night at Improv Central. So we have our fabulous teacher teaching that, and it'll be an event where you'll leave feeling more connected, more playful, kind of digging deeper in, not just staying at the surface with the people you want to connect with the most.
Yeah, you say that the bigger idea here is presence over performance. What do you mean by that?
Sure. So I started out as a performer, and then I kind of realized that I was bringing that performing posture to every part of my life. And I think a lot of people are really tired of performing.
Yeah.
They feel that weight, they feel that exhaustion of always being prepared, always feeling like they have to get it right and be polished and be ready. And that leaves us feeling really tired and actually not as present in the moment as we want to be. So I think what this space is about, there's no stage, there's no performing. It is not an improv performance space. It's an improv presence space where we get ready for life's unscripted moments just by being there.